Good day, everyone. Welcome to the subject of the child and adolescent's learner and learning principle. I am Benjamin Kayanong, and this is my oral report. We are here to recall our topic from week 4 to week 6. So, without further ado, let's proceed to week 4. Week 4, Unit 2, Developmental Theories and Other Relevant Theories. Our topic from the week 4 is Sigmund Freud's psychosexual theory. Sigmund Freud, 1856 to 1939. Psychosexual theory. These are called psychosexual stages because each stage represents the fixation of libido, roughly translated as sexual drives or instincts, on a different area of the body. The three components and personality adjustments. First is the ID, which exists from birth and most prominent in the newborn baby is the subconscious part, related to the individual's most basic needs and wants. The ego. The ego is the rational conscious part. It begins to emerge later infancy and helps children to relate to the realities of the environment. Superego can be thought as something like conscience, and it is associated with morality. The role of conflict. Each of the psychosexual stages is associated with particular conflict that must be resolved before the individual can successfully advance to the next stage. The resolution of these conflicts requires to the expenditure of sexual energy and more energy that is expended at a particular stage. Frustration, overindulgence, and fixation. Some people do not seem to be able to live on stage and proceed on to the next. One reason of this may be that the needs of the developing individuals at any particular stage may not have been adequately met, in which case there is frustration. Both frustration and overindulgence lead to what psychologists call fixation at a particular stage in which there is overindulgence. Fixation refers to the theoretical notion that a portion of individual's libido has been permanently invested in a particular stage in which there is overindulgence. Psychosexual stages of development. First is the oral stage, 0 to 1 years. Second is the anal stage, 3 to 1 years. Third is the phallic stage, 3 to 5 or 6 years. Fourth is the latency stage, 5 or 6 to puberty. And the last one is the genital stage, puberty to adult. Oral stage, 0 to 1 years. In the first stage of personal development, the libido is centered in a baby's mouth. Freud said oral stimulation could lead us to an oral fixation in a later life. Anal stages, 1 to 3 years. The libido now becomes focused on the anus, and the child derives great pleasure from defecating. Phallic stage, 3 to 5 or 6 years. Sensitivity now becomes concentrated in the genital and masturbation in both sexes becomes a new source of pleasure. The child becomes aware of anatomical sex difference, which sets on motion to conflict between erotic attraction, resentment, rivalry, jealousy, and fear, which Freud called the Oedipus complex in the boys and the Electra complex in girls. Oedipus complex, or in the boys. The most important aspects of phallic stage is Oedipus complex. The name of Oedipus complex derives from the Greek myth where Oedipus, a young man, kills his father and marries his mother. Electra complex for the girls. For girls, the Oedipus or electrocomplex is less than satisfactory. Briefly, the girl desires the father but realizes that she does not have penis. This leads to the development of penis in vey and the wish to be a boy. Latency stage 5 to 6 to puberty. No further psychosexual development takes place during this stage. Latent means hidden. The libido is dormant. The last one for week 4 is the genital stage, puberty to adult. It is the time of adolescent sexual experimentation, the successful resolution of which is settling down in loving one-to-one relationship with another person in our 20s. So that's all from the week 4. So now let's proceed to the week 5. So week 5. Piaget's stages of cognitive development. For 60 years, Jean Piaget conducted research in cognitive development. His research method involves a small number of individuals as they respond to cognitive tasks that he designed. These tasks were later known as Piagetian tasks. Piaget called his general theoretical framework genetic epistemology because he was interested in how knowledge developed in human organisms. Basic cognitive concepts. First is schema. Piaget used the term schema to refer to cognitive structure by which individuals intellectually adapt to and organize their environment. Assimilation. This is the process of fitting a new experience into an existing or previously creative cognitive structure or schema. Accommodation. This is the process of creating a schema. Equilibration. Piaget believed that the people have a natural need to understand the world works and to find order, structure, and predictability in their life when your experiences do not match your schema or cognitive structures. We experience cognitive disequilibrium. Piaget stages of cognitive development. The first stage is sensory motor stage. The first stage corresponds from birth to infancy. This first stage, when a child who is essentially reflexive in grasping, sucking, and reaching becomes more organized in his movement and activity. The second stage is pre-operational stage. The pre-operational covers from about 2 to 7 years old, roughly considering the preschool years. This stage is highly highlighted by the following: symbolic function, egocentrism, centration, irreversible animism, and the last one is the transductive reasoning. The third stage is concrete operational stage. This stage is characterized by the ability of a child to think logically, but only in terms of concrete objects. The concrete operational stage is marked by the following: decentering, reversibility, conservation, and the last one is seriation. The last stage is the formal operational stage. In this final stage, the formal operational covering ages between 12 and 15 years, thinking becomes more logical. They can now solve abstract problems and can hypothesize. So this stage is characterized by the following: the hypothetical reasoning, analogical reasoning, and the deductive reasoning. So now let's proceed to the week 6. So our topic from the week 6 is Erik Erikson's psychosocial theory of development. Psychosocial theory of development. Erik Erikson was a German-born analyst who learned not only from Freud's work, but also from the study of Sioux and Yurok Indians in the United States, where he spent much of his adult life as a teacher and clinical practitioner. These are the 8 stages described by Erikson. First is the trust versus mistrust from birth to 12 months. Second is the autonomy versus shame, 1 to 3 years. Third is the initiative versus guilt, 3 to 6 years. Fourth is the industry versus inferiority, from 6 to 12 years. Fifth is the identify and role confusion, from 12 to 18 years. Sixth is the intimacy versus isolation, from young adulthood. Seventh is the generativity versus stagnation, from middle adulthood. And the last one is integrity versus despair, from late adulthood. Like Freud's work, Erikson has been criticized for its Eurocentric male focus and has been expanded upon by subsequent theories. Despite all of the arguments surrounding Erikson's theory and the useful amendments that have been made to it, it is still widely used, sometimes with one or more of these amendments as the framework for the study of human development. So that's all from the week 6 topic. And that's all of my oral report. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.